it is who I am. Like, I kind of define myself by it. And it's like the one thing that I feel like, I'm so blessed to be able to do.
This is Joe Wong. Welcome to the Trap Set, where each week we explore the lives of drummers. I want to play something for you. You're hearing Hurricane by the Coathangers, featuring my guest, Stephanie Luke, aka Rusty Coathanger, on drums. Formed in 2006 as a joke, the Coathangers embody a familial, almost gang-like attitude. Stephanie didn't start playing drums until she was in her mid-20s, and her wild, driving style was developed specifically for the band. As we'll discuss, Stephanie didn't spend decades in the woodshed honing her technique, but her confident, passionate approach is perfectly suited to the band, which is now in the midst of its second decade. I spoke to Stephanie before a recent performance in downtown Los Angeles. And now my conversation with Rusty Coathanger.
My mom, she was basically stay-at-home mom, but she used to be an antiques dealer. So our house is covered with nothing but antiques. So a lot of chairs you can't sit in, a lot of random stuff like that. But I love it because I love to go antiquing now. So
when you go home to visit your parents, where do you go?
They live up in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, in the suburbs. So.
What kind of music was on when you were growing up?
Not a lot, actually. My parents weren't really into music, kind of more, on the right side of things. But I remember in high school.
You mean right politically?
Yeah, they're pretty conservative. They've chilled out a lot over the years, though, so that's good. But I remember when I was in high school, that's when I started getting into just listening to the Beatles and Janis Joplin and Elvis and just kind of generic old school kind of stuff like that.
What were your other hobbies in high school?
I was a total nerd, all-A student. I did tap, jazz, and ballet, swim team, lacrosse, cross country, a lot of sports, basketball. I wasn't good at any of them, but I did them all. I always had to be involved in a sport or something, so I'd stay out of trouble. So, yeah.
You mean you needed physical stimulus?
Yeah, I think I've always been kind of fidgety kind of person. So, yeah, just put me out on a field of some sort.
When did music become more of something that you felt like you could participate in rather than just consume?
When I started meeting my punk rock friends, I guess you could say, in high school and then in college.
So you started out kind of listening to Elvis and
just more like
Janis Joplin.
Right.
And then how did you find your punk rock friends?
There were just the other kids that kind of didn't fit in at our school. And so...
Did you feel like you didn't fit in?
Oh, yeah, never fit in.
Even though you were an A student and an athlete?
Yeah, I was a nerd.
That.
So it was a lot of jocks, a lot of football, a lot of cheerleaders, which is fine. Nothing against that. But it was, But when I found them, they had transferred to our school, and I remember like going to punk shows and like house shows and then seeing my guy friends, they were all in bands, and I was like, I want to play drums, like I want to do that.
Where were you going to house shows?
It was just downtown Atlanta, when downtown Atlanta was kind of a little bit more sketchy.
So when was this?
This was 90. Oh boy, this was 99, 2000. I graduated high school in 2000. And then more so when I got into college, when I really started figuring out kind of the punk scene, That's when we met like Die Slaughterhouse Records and Rob's House Records and all these other punk houses that would have shows like Black Lips and Deer Hunter playing in basements,
Yeah.
that kind of fun stuff.
What is it about punk rock that spoke to you?
Just like I said earlier, kind of like not fitting in, just being a weirdo, just like looking like a weirdo and everything. And then, but also the music was like, you could be angry and you could be pissed off, and it was okay, and it was like a safe place for that. So I think that's the main thing, just like kind of being like a part of something for the first time.
One of the things that kind of draws a lot of people into punk rock is that one of the tenets is that you don't have to be a great technical musician in order to play it. Although lots of the best punk musicians are fantastic players, but it's less
judged.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe it's less of a barrier to entry.
Right.
Like if you wanted to play classical percussion or even play percussion in a classic rock influenced band, it takes longer. You
gotta have your chops up. Yeah.
So with punk rock, one of the things I like is that, it's trying to cut through the mechanics and just express an idea in the most simple way possible or straightforward way possible.
I totally agree with that.
So can you remember playing drums for the first time?
Yeah, I'd moved to LA, to Hollywood. I think it was like 2002, 2004. I went to Musicians Institute.
Oh, you did? So you wanted to get good.
Well, I went to Musicians Institute originally I was going to go for recording. Because before this, I hadn't played drums yet. I'd always wanted to, but never had the guts to, I guess, because where I was from, especially like girls, and my dad even told me when I was growing up, because I used to play saxophone and violin as well growing up as a nerd, and then young ladies aren't supposed to play drums, that kind of stuff. So I went to MI and I changed to music business, and it was good for what it was worth. And I tried tour managing and stuff, and then I realized like I just want to play drums. I was like, and I was on tour with these punk rock bands, and I was like, I can play shitty drums.
Who were you tour managing?
A band called Amity. Super emo, old school, for some kids from Downey. And then there was another band I tried helping out called Plastic Letters. And so I just kind of quit all that and moved back to Atlanta and stole a drum set from this guy who stole my bike previously. And so I was like, well, he owes me. So he was a drummer as well. And
why did he steal your bike?
I don't know. It was so random. Like my bike went missing one day, and I was like, what? How would this happen? And I found it in his closet at his house, and I was like, what the?
How did you find it? How did you?
It was my
look in
girl.
his
So
closet?
my best girl, that was her boyfriend.
Okay.
So it was that kind of relationship, And so I was like, you know what? I really need a drum set, and he had like 2 or 3 shitty drum sets in his basement, and she actually helped me carry out the drum set.
Who was it?
This guy. I don't want to mention names, but it was a guy I went to college with. I went to college with all these people. So, but he never said anything about it.
So you went to like a liberal arts type situation for a couple of years, and then you transferred to MI when you were 20?
Okay, so I first went to Rollins College for a semester in Florida. Hated that. Moved back to Georgia, Atlanta. Went to Georgia State for a couple years. Got tired of that. Moved to LA. Did the MI thing. Went to Pasadena City College for a second because I was like, what am I doing with my life? And that's when I moved back to Atlanta. And then that's when we started the band. And I took the drum set back to Julia and Candace, guitar and keyboard, ex-keyboard player's house. And we just started playing around and messing around. And it just kind of, one thing led to another after that.
What do you remember about the first time you played drums?
How hard it was. How I was like, how am I going to figure this out? Like, because I didn't, it's like at this time, didn't really have a lot of, like I was always nervous to ask about how to do stuff. Or like, so I would just kind of go to shows and watch how other, mainly dudes, would play.
So lots of people talk about how the drums immediately make sense to them when they come on this show, like how it felt like the most natural thing in the world. And then some people have to fight for it.
Right.
So what kept you going?
It's just like the most fun thing I'd ever done before. And I really like doing it. I really like the physicality of it and kind of the being able to, transfer all that, whatever I was going through the drums, because it's a very physical instrument, well, it can be. So yeah, and then it was also just so much fun writing music. I'd never done that before. And yeah.
Do you remember the actual feeling you had when you first sat down?
Like, our first show, like fear, like complete fear. Like, what am I doing? I don't know how to do this. Everyone's going to laugh at me, kind of that kind of mentality. But then it's just like, you just get to this point where you're like, fuck everybody. Like, they're not doing it. I'm doing it. At least I'm trying to do it, So it just kind of took my mind off of not caring about what other people think. And it felt so good. It just felt so, it was like relief, after every show. It was just like, I just felt like a sense of relief after every show. I still do too. It's a good feeling. What
would your advice be to somebody who was starting? Like, what qualifies somebody to play a show?
Well, I've only been playing since I was 25.
Okay.
And I'm 36 now. So okay. I'm still, like, every day I'm still trying to learn. Like, I always watch drummers, always trying to learn a new fill. I've been, always watching YouTube videos. And I would just say just stick with it. Because, no one in the history of music, for the most part, is ever just good at what they do right away. So just keep doing it if you enjoy it, and don't let anyone get in your way or whatever.
How would you kind of define a good drummer?
Someone who's really into it, no matter like how experienced or how technically good, like how much they're really into it and really like trying to like get it the whole show, like not sitting up there looking bored or whatever, that's bums me out when I see any musician. It just looks like they're so miserable and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, get the hell out of here. So yeah, I like it when I can see somebody like a drummer who, no matter how technically good they are, they're just really going for it and you can tell they're enjoying it,
So to get better, does that mean getting more into it? Is that how you would define progress for yourself?
No, just like, I guess the more technical parts come into play, like staying in it and then just trying to, like, I'm always trying to push myself to do things that are hard to learn.
And you said that your parents are very conservative, but they've mellowed out. Mm-hmm. So what was their response when, as a young lady, you started playing drums?
Well, my dad sat me down when I started this band with Julia and the girls, and he was like, when you stop fucking around, you need to get serious, and you're going back to college. Because I never got a degree after all that amount of school. And then now it's like they come to our shows and he's having beers and dancing in the back, and enjoying himself because I think he realized like
finally
I wasn't.
Gave up.
Yeah, he's like, she's gonna do this no matter what. Yeah. Okay, but no, it was like he finally saw that because we have taken it seriously, as far as like getting our shit together and just pursuing it as it's a business, as well as our lives, as well as a hobby or whatever, but. So I think he sees that how serious we are about it and how we've taken it seriously, and he's seen how much we've progressed too. And he's kind of everyone's dad, he loves all the girls. We're all very close. So now he's happy for us, and they come to the shows and they have a good time. And yeah, my dad has like 2 beers, and it's adorable. Yeah.
How would you categorize your relationship with your parents?
Now it's really good. It used to really suck, which I think is a lot of people can relate to as a musician maybe, or an artist in general. Because they weren't very accepting. They're very confused. When I started getting tattooed, that was just, what is it? They couldn't believe it.
Was it,
our little
make
girl.
It more fun?
I don't know. The tattoo, yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm really pissing them off. No, it kind of bummed me out because I really like my parents and they're really good people. So it was kind of like a lot of wasted time on not getting each other. I didn't get him. He didn't get me, but my mom was always very supportive.
Are you politically conservative?
No.
So how did your own viewpoint evolve?
From what do you mean?
If you were raised in a conservative household,
right.
How did you become who you are?
Punk rock, and just the ideologies that come along with it. And reading about the reality of things and not watching Fox News or whatever news, that's out there. So, yeah, that's... Yeah, just the truth of how horrible things could be.
Do you feel like, as somebody who loves your family, even though they're very conservative, that it gives you a more nuanced view when you're interacting with other people that are conservative?
Yeah, and I think it's good to just be, open-minded about everything that's going on, and you're not always going to agree with everybody, and they're not going to agree with you, and that's okay. That's how democracy should work, right? But, yeah, I think I have a little bit more patience for, people that I definitely want to tell me their opinion about a conservative issue, and they're not listening to me, and they don't want to listen to me, or whoever else. So I think I have a little bit more patience maybe than I used to with that, because it's, at the end of the day, it's just someone's opinion,
Who came up with the name the Coathangers?
Me and Julia, I think, for the most part. I remember me and Julia writing our first song on this cafe down in Little Five Points where we all used to live. It's like the punk rock area of town, the different people kind of place. And, we just got coffee. We were just like, yeah, what if we do this? And writing the lyrics and everything. And so, but we came up with that name, and then we kind of came up with kind of a nod to the Ramones names, kind of in that same kind of vein. And it's, it's the Coathangers, and yes, it does have an abortion reference, but it's not like we're pro-abortion. We're just pro doing and saying whatever you want.
This episode of The Trap Set is brought to you in part by Colectivo Coffee. Handmade coffee since 1993. Check them out online at colectivo.com.
How would you rate your confidence as a musician now?
What's the scale? Where does it begin and end?
Well, how would you describe your level of confidence?
I'm pretty confident. So I still get nervous before every show, but I think that's a good thing.
That's good.
Yeah. And it's an exciting nervousness, not like, oh my God, am I gonna be able to get through this show kind of nervousness. But I don't know, I'm pretty confident in it, and we've gotten thicker skins after being a band for 12 years. We don't really, if people don't like it, you don't like it. It's cool. We don't read any bad reviews on ourselves or anything, because it don't matter at the end of the day.
What drugs do you like to do?
I think anyone who knows me knows that. Smoke some weed.
Okay.
That's not really a drug. I like to go up sometimes. I prefer uppers. Can't do pills. Not a pill.
You mean like caffeine?
Yes. Espressos. Yeah. Yeah. But that's all I'll say about that.
Can you, if you were like really amped up, can you play a show?
No blow before the show. That's the rule. Yeah. No, and it's like I don't even like to really. I have usually, unless it's like we're playing one of these shows where it's like it's mainly for fun. It's not a tour thing. If it's a little lesser, seriousness of a show. But I usually just try to have like 2 beers and a shot and like no more than that before, because it's just like I just want my body to be at its best when I'm trying to play. And the more you drink and the more fun you have, quote unquote, there's nothing worse than looking like a asshole on stage because you've got too fucked up. It's embarrassing, and that happened when we first started playing. I remember there's a show, and it was just so embarrassing. I could barely get through any of the songs because all of our songs are super fast, And so after that, I was like, no more of that. Chill out.
How wrapped up in the band is your personal identity right now?
It is who I am. Like, I kind of define myself by it, and it's like the one thing that I feel like, I'm so blessed to be able to do, and to be able to tour, and to be able to write music, and to be able to entertain people who really dig what we're saying and dig the band. So yeah, it's pretty much who I am.
Does that raise the stakes whenever there's a disagreement within the band? I mean,
well, we've learned how to talk to each other, especially when you're in the van with someone almost every day of the year or in the studio.
So what's your strategy?
Just I've become a better listener, because I can be, and I'm less argumentative because I'm very sensitive sometimes, so I can be I'm just more open mind, like listening to other people before I say something, and also allowing other, like Julia Meredith, like giving them space too. Sometimes people just need their space for a little bit here and there.
I always like exercising when I'm on tour
Really?
to have my space.
What do you do?
I'll go to the gym at the
Just work it out
thing and just exercise.
I need to start doing that. I hate working out though. I hate
You're
it.
still young, so you have some time
right
before it all goes to hell.
Oh, it's on its way. I can feel it. There's pockets of skin. I'm like, where did that come from? What is happening? But that's probably mostly PBR, so that's probably the reason for that.
Are you the kind of person that plans out your life?
I obsess about it.
So what do you obsess about? What do you think
Well,
about?
it's kind of freaky, it's like just turned 36. What's going on? What am I doing? Should I have done this? Should I have done that?
Well, should you have?
Well, gotten married, had kids, gotten the secure job where you got to make money every day.
Well, you can always get married and you can always get a secure
Yeah.
job, but what about kids? Is that something that you want?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I've never really wanted it until now. It's like I'm getting to the point where it's like I might not be able to do it, and it's like, well, that's not a really good reason to have a child just because I can. So it's something like all my friends, they getting married and having children. So it's really fun to experience that part, because it's also nice. I can come in,
see the kid, and then
be
leave.
the cool aunt, and then I can do
Yeah.
whatever I want. Like
Yeah.
I can fly to Spain if I want. It's
Right.
like, so I don't know. That's something that I think if it's gonna happen, it'll just kind of maybe happen. I'm just not gonna obsess over that anymore. It's like,
Well, how can you decide not to obsess over something?
well, it's like I have to turn my brain off sometimes. It's like I've been doing. I know this sounds weird, but meditation.
What kind?
I do these weird meditations. Which I have this app, and it's like there's thousands of different ones you can listen to. Some are just like different noises, like at certain hertz that triggers certain parts of your brain to like chill out, and then some are like more like kind of like life coaching, kind of like, and it's totally mellowed me out. I never really thought it would, but it's really helped just chill me out, just calm down.
Well, what else do you obsess over?
Money, it's like we do okay for ourselves, but by no means is anything secure. And then I would like to have a house, and a little bit of land, somewhere in the woods someday. And just being, I guess,
Do
being
you think
happy.
that if you get a house and you had enough money that you didn't have to worry about money, would you just stop obsessing about things, or would you find something else to
I'd
obsess
probably
over?
find something else, Joe. I mean, it's like, I think that's just kind of my human condition, because I think it's just how my brain works and just how I was raised too, just like, but I think it's a healthy thing to like be aware of that.
Yeah.
And like keep it on the back burner and like try, like I'm saving up money a little bit more than I used to and little things like that. But I think I'm just always going to probably obsess over something, and that's okay.
Chase you around that bend. Chase you down until you're dead. We'll just follow the road. We're gonna see how the line goes. Well, I imagine you all.
Which artists have you listened to the most over the course of your life?
Oh my gosh. Ramones. I hate these questions because I always blank out. I don't know, just pretty much anything I can get my
I'm not
hands
asking you
on.
who your favorites are. I'm just asking,
Right.
like, which ones quantifiably have you?
Well, I
probably
know. I
spent the
think I've
most
seen
time
No
listening
Effects the most times of any band.
to? Really?
I know. I don't want to tell you because it's guilty
Why?
pleasures.
Why? Why is it a guilty pleasure? Wait, why is it a guilty pleasure?
Because it's probably stuff that not a lot of people would
I'm not going to judge you.
qualify. I know. A lot of Alkaline Trio. Like a lot of pop punk, a lot of punk.
Now, the guy from Alkaline Trio's in Blink 182 now.
Yes, Maskiba.
Now, you go to see them too?
I would. I like that's how far
That's
this
in your
goes.
wheelhouse.
That's how deep this wheelhouse goes. Yeah. But it's like I also respect all the old school stuff like Clash, Ramones, and Minor Threat, and all the classics as well. And then also it's like I'm also just trying to like get into what's like going on right now too, because I don't really know where music industry is or where it's going. There's just this influx of like EDM music, which like freaks me out because it's like it's not people playing instruments technically. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like...
It's instruments playing people.
Right. Oh. I'm going to steal that from you. Yeah, so that kind of freaks me out. So it's like, being able to tour with like Death Valley Girls and Feels and the Fly Traps, like just seeing what other kids are doing and seeing that it's still alive, like punk rock and, original music is still happening.
So even though you're not necessarily one to plan out your life, are there certain things that you want to accomplish in the next year, 10 years, that kind of thing? Do you want to be playing in this band when you're 50 years old?
I don't think it'll be physically possible because I feel like my body's just wasting away as far as the physicalness of it. But
I'm telling you,
gotta work
exercise
out.
on tour.
I got to do it. I did
Cut
buy
out those
some
PBRs.
Nikes. I know. I did buy some Nikes recently. And
That's
so
step
I'm
one.
pretty excited about that. And I was trying to work out at home, like YouTube tutorials and stuff. It didn't happen that much, but yeah, I was thinking, I was talking to my dad and I was like, should I go back to college? Like, should I get a degree? Like, but I don't even know what I would get it for. That's the weird thing. It's like all I want to do is like this, So I don't know, and it's terrifying because I have no idea what else I would do. I mean, hopefully it'll be something music related, whether it's helping book bands or maybe run a venue or help run a venue or something. It's like I think I always have to be around music because, like I said, if I went to college, I have no idea what I'd be doing there, and I don't want to be around a bunch of young kids. They
What
terrify
about
me.
going back to college for music? Is that something you would do?
That's something, that actually sounds like a great idea. Thank you, Joe.
Well, I don't know, because I went to school for music and I didn't particularly care for it.
I've never done it before, so I don't know what it's like.
Well, at this point in your life, do you feel like it would be making a concession if you were to go back to school? Or do you feel like you could go into it and be as excited about it as going on tour?
I guess it'd be more of a concession. I don't think I'd be excited about it. It'd be more like I should do this to become a better musician or to become a better drummer. You know?
If you went to music school.
Yeah.
But if you went to school for anything else.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. It would be just to get the job for the money, so I don't have to worry about,
Do you think that you would be happier that way?
I don't know. Probably not, but I'd be secure. It's like this financial security that freaks me out because just knowing other friends who, just knowing how life can be, like you never know where you're going to end up. So it kind of freaks me out. It's like that not knowing. But you know what the other thing is like I've known also like a lot of older friends who got the job, got the wife or husband and the house, and then they've lost it all. It's like they got divorced, lost the house, lost their job, got fired, whatever. So I guess even if you think you have it all figured out, life can throw you curveballs at any moment.
Well, I think most people don't think they have it all figured out. And the ones that do think they have it all figured out, you need to be suspicious of.
Right.
Maybe a good way of figuring it out is realizing that you're just never going to figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's well said.
Because I've had folks on this show that are, multi-millionaires that are just as miserable as any of us.
Let's all just be miserable together.
I had Phil Collins
I
onto his
know.
mansion in Miami,
How was that?
and he was not in a good mood. I mean,
Oh.
he was.
Huh.
I mean, he's had a difficult last decade.
Oh,
and
really?
I think he's on the upswing now, but
Okay, good.
he was. I
Phil.
was asking him if he wanted to make another record. He's like, I'm scared. I don't know if it'll be any good. The same thing that
And that
anybody
must be
says.
so much pressure though when
Well,
you're
yeah.
like
He's
on
like,
that
it has
echelon.
to top anything I've done before, and
Yeah, and there's no room to go down.
yeah.
But I do love your little drawings. Is there one over there?
Yeah,
Hey,
people
Patty.
sent him in.
I'm gonna remember that. Good to know, Joe.
I think I'm good. Wait, actually, people, I think I'm good with Phil Collins' drawings.
You don't want any more?
I don't know. I don't know if I need any more. Maybe anybody else that's been on the show, I would be happy to
Okay.
accept. So
Good to know.
Sly Dunbar or Tony Allen or Sheila E., I'm all for.
Sheila
But,
E.,
yeah.
yes.
The Trap Set will always be available for free, but we rely on donations from our listeners. Please visit our website at thetrapset.net and click donate. Subscribe to our show on iTunes, and if you enjoy what you hear, give us a review.
I wonder if the fact that you found something that was so compelling to you at the age of 25 is empowering, in the sense that, maybe you don't have your life mapped out, but the fact that there could be something that just comes along and clicks with you, just like drumming has.
Yeah.
Do you think about that?
No, but now I will.
Well, that's a good thing to think about,
I
right?
think it is. It's a really positive way of thinking of. It's like and that's why I love talking to people, because you're always going to get a different side of a person's brain and opinion and stuff. I love that. That's a good way to think. I'm going to think about that.
So, maybe when you're 50, the oil painting starts.
Hey, perhaps. Or accounting. What if that happened?
Do you have a good accountant?
Yeah, we do actually. Well, kind of. She does our taxes. It's Julia's sister, our guitar player's sister.
Oh,
She's
that's
an
nice. So
accountant.
she does taxes for the entire band?
Yes, she keeps our money straight. Thank God. Whatever little amount or big amount might be in there.
When you picture your house in the middle of the woods, what do you picture?
Like a little fixer-upper, maybe a cow and a pig and a bunch of animals, nice front porch. Just something really cozy and like away from like civilization. Because, you can always travel to big cities, but I think it's nice to also be away from civilization sometimes. Just be alone or with someone else that you want to be with. And I love animals. They're great for the most part.
Do you have any pets?
I live with my boyfriend back in Atlanta, and he has his dog, Archie Bell. He's half pit and half lab, and I love that dog.
Is your boyfriend a musician?
He is, and he used to be in a band called the 45s, and he's a little bit older than me, so he's been in the game a little bit longer, but now he's in a band called The Bad Spell. And it was the same thing kind of with him, like not the same thing, but his bandmates were like, I got to get married. I got to get the job. And he's like me, he just wanted to keep doing the band. And so they kind of all started falling off a little bit. So the band stopped touring and ultimately stopped playing. And so I'm glad he's playing music again, because he's an amazing guitarist, amazing songwriter. It's like he has to play music. Like I told him that. I was like, you have to play music because that's what you love to do. And I think when people who like love being a musician like don't play music, I think it kind of hurts their psyche almost, you know? You can kind of tell. It kind of like sucks the life out of them.
Do you ever play together?
Yeah, we'll mess around at the apartment sometimes and write little songs together, which is great. And he's helping me learn how to play guitar, trying to bone up on that. So yeah, it's great. I love it.
What do you think about the most?
Just I think how to improve who I am as a person in every facet of my life, as a daughter, as a friend, as a musician, as a bandmate, just trying to always better myself.
What's one way that you've done that?
I've gotten a lot less angry, just like, and I think music has facilitated that, of course, because it's like when you get to play all the time and get all this, anger out, it's just really nice, And just like I said earlier, just listening to people more and just like being more like receptive to other people and just try to like spread as much, like love and goodwill out there, because things are so hard for people right now on so many different levels and so many different parts of the world. It's like overwhelmingly kind of depressing sometimes. So I think it's really good, and like when we meet like positive people, like at shows or whatever, it's like, it kind of, you feed into that, and it's kind of makes the night so much better than if you have a bunch of people who are just being like dicks about everything. It's just like, ugh, get me out of here.
Do you feel like you're a naturally positive person?
I think I am for the most part. I mean, when I was younger, I was definitely like more negative, but now definitely, and 30 on has really been quite nice.
So maybe 40 on will be even better.
My Madonna years, where
What do you mean by that?
like I get all, I don't know, into yoga,
Into the cabal,
get some kind of religion. I don't know. Where hopefully no Botox. No.
Is she like you, or is she like your parents?
She's her
Or is she
own
like her
thing.
own thing?
That's
That's a false dichotomy.
My
But
little Lily. She's my best friend. She's my world. Besides this band, that's my girl.
What about your boyfriend?
I love him
He's
too.
just kind of like third place. He's the bronze medal holder.
Well, family first, baby. But no, he's amazing. He's great. But my sister's just a very important person to me. And she actually used to help us tour manage the band.
So what is she doing now?
She graduated from SCAD University, and now she's actually, the movies have come to Atlanta, like filming and stuff. Mm-hmm. So her, like a lot of my friends are a part of that. So now she does like set deck and stuff, which is great because she gets to utilize her degree, which is hard to do nowadays, I think.
Do you watch CNN?
Occasionally, until it depresses me. Do I drink Coca-Cola? Sometimes.
Have you been to the Coca-Cola factory?
I have not been to the museum. Can you believe? I know.
It seems like something that they would have all of the elementary school kids do for a field trip, is go visit Coca-Cola. I grew up in Milwaukee, which is the original home of PBR. Not anymore, really.
Did you do that in school?
We went, it's also the home of Miller, so we went to the Miller factory.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really
Interesting.
cool.
Okay.
I work for Ted Turner, sort of.
Oh, really?
Because I write music for...
Have you met Ted Turner?
No. I write music for Adult Swim and other Turner stuff.
Oh, yeah. I love Adult Swim.
So he owns that.
No, we did that Fish Tank TV show. What's it called?
I don't know.
It's the one where it's just like a fish. It's like an actual fish tank. I think it's called Fish Tank. I don't know. And then you kind of like bet on which fish is going to win, and then just have you like do interview stuff and play a few songs. It was so much fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I actually don't watch that much TV for all the TV. Well, it's the same thing that we were talking about before.
Right.
Like you don't listen to that much music right now. I don't watch tons of TV. Mm-hmm. I watch more than I probably should.
Right.
More than regular people should watch.
Me too. I can be so bad about that.
But I don't watch every show. I don't keep up on every single show.
That's good though. That's okay.
Because I want to have
Survivor did start. Survivor.
Life.
That's another guilty pleasure. Love Survivor. That just
why is it? But why
started.
is it a guilty pleasure?
Because
why is it guilty?
I just feel guilty watching TV in general sometimes because I'm there. I'm like,
because you should be bettering yourself.
I
instead?
could be playing. Yeah, I could be learning guitar. I could be writing a song. I could be drawing. I could be, blah 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 blah. So yeah, but there's something about reality TV. It's like I can't take my eyes off it sometimes because it's just so awful. It's just so crazy that this is like it's like a vibe. It's like such a big thing now. I remember, when like Real World came out, and we're like, what is this? No one's gonna watch this. Like, who the hell cares? And now it's just everything is reality something.
Well, my girlfriend is really smart. She's a doctor.
Oh wow, score!
And she comes home after a long shift.
Oh boy!
And what does she watch?
ER?
No, not ER. She watches the fucking Kardashians.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's
even
what
smart people like dumb shit.
See, okay, that makes me feel good. Thank you, I appreciate that.
She watches that. She watches this thing called Vanderpump Rules.
Yes, my sister's obsessed with that one.
It's the worst.
It's awful.
So junky.
It's junk.
Do you feel better about the world or worse or
feel
neither?
The same.
Feel the same.
I'm glad to have met you.
I was hoping.
I do.
This would
My
be
brain. My brain.
I always
does
try
hurt.
to make it a life-changing conversation, but if I fall short,
but it is life-changing, even if it's the same, because it's just just makes you just keep thinking about things.
Well, good.
Never ending.
Well, Rusty Coathanger, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. What an honor.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
The Trap Set is produced by me, Joe Wong, along with Chris Karwowski, who also edits the program. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at The Trap Set, and visit our website, thetrapset.net, to subscribe to our show for free. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please donate to our show. If you can't afford to donate, please tell a friend and give us a good rating on iTunes. Send your feedback and guest requests to thetrapset@gmail.com.